What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another very special trip with the PlayStation Drive. This is episode 52. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for this wonderful Drives events. Today is going to be a very special show, but I'm joined, as always, by Captain Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalonde. Court, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. And I'm glad we have the tech with the specs with us.
We do. For the first time ever on a normal episode of the PlayStation Drive, we have a guest, the tech with the specs himself, Mr. Steve Vegvari. How you doing, Steve? Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you guys so much for inviting me here. I'm definitely excited for this. What's going to be a great episode. I mean, I'm so excited to go down with some predictions, and I also want to give a shout out to Sean for inviting, and all of you guys, everyone that's part of Carpool Gaming since the rebrand and just keeping that momentum going, and to the audience as well. Thank you guys for having me here.
We're going to have a ton of fun getting into the predictions today. So again, to everyone, today will be a bit of a different show. We're not going to get into any news. We're just going to be talking predictions. We're going to be doing 3 each and then a ridiculous pie in the sky. But before we get into any of that, we have to clean the garage and make sure all of you know how to find us. If you're watching us right now live on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, make sure you like, subscribe, share this stream out. Let everybody know how to find us. It helps us grow. Hit that bell so you get notified whenever any of the incredible content we have here at Carpool goes live, because there is a lot of it pretty much every day of the week almost. So come hang out with us. If you're listening to us on your preferred podcast network of choice, please hit us with the 5 stars. Leave us a review. It helps us grow and it helps us to connect to more people everywhere so they can hear all about how Blue Box is one of the greatest studios of our time. And for Patreon. Yep, patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you're able to support us, please hop over there, toss a couple bucks in the old tip jar, and out comes incredible content and early access to a whole bunch of our shows. It helps us grow, and it helps us do more incredible things for you, which there is a lot coming. Which is why today we're doing a wonderful YouTube community celebration day to thank all of you for helping us get to where we are today. But without further ado, my friends, Let's do a quick check-in. I don't want to get right into predictions. We need to let it simmer, let it stew a little bit. So before we get into that, let's toss in the tracks, open up our playlist, and see what we've been up to lately. Steve, as our first ever guest on the PlayStation Drive, I'm going to go to you first. Yeah. What have you been playing lately, my friend? What's been going on?
I've kind of been in this little bit of a gaming lull ever since wrapping up my time with Elden Ring. I've been after sinking over 100 hours into that game, I've kind of felt this hole in my body and soul, so I've been trying to fill it with various games. I've been playing Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga for a while, beat the core trilogies and everything like that, but going for the 100% is quite the daunting task. There's a lot of content in that game, and to be honest, the game isn't really hitting as much as I wanted it to be, so I can't really play it for more than maybe an hour without kind of getting, I don't want to say bored, but sidetracked with other things. I find myself like on my phone during cutscenes and stuff like that. So there's that. And then just the other day, I started finally getting around to Life is Strange True Colors, a game that's been embarrassingly in my backlog for far too long. So just starting to get into it a couple hours in, really enjoying it. I love the Life is Strange series, but now is the time, now that we're facing all these delays and these small pockets of no AAA tentpole games, might as well just go back into the backlog and start clearing some stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the backlog burning right now. I feel like everybody's kind of in the same boat. Yeah. While some of us continue to play MLB The Show. Court, what about you? What's been going on, my friend?
I literally was played about an hour of it already today.
There you go.
Right now, and hey, it's a Sony first party game. Where you do a PlayStation show. I do play it on 2 different consoles. Still debating on whether they're getting a Switch version, just so I can have it, so that when I'm watching TV with the wife, I can be like, I could grind out a little bit here. Right now in the show, you can get, as from Toronto here, you can get Doc Holliday. That's the new program. They give you Carlos Delgado cards. It's actually, honestly, I collected cards as a kid. I put 0 money into this game. But thank you, PlayStation. Thank you, Xbox, for providing codes that kind of gave me a huge kickstart into this game, packs-wise. But I can't stop playing, and I don't know what it is. Like, I am in shock. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is the first game that's hooked me since the Division 2 to the fact that I'm like, every little bit of content, I eat it up. Like, I haven't jumped back into the Division 2 for the new season that just dropped and all this new content, and I'm strongly debating it. But my issue is every time I'm like, I'm almost there to going into a new game when I've done something in MLB The Show, they have weekly drops. Like their roadmap in this is something that I continue to say in other sports games and other video games. If other companies would just copy how they do this, the drip is always there. The roadmap right now for the program is 2 weeks, but then they have, and that's for offline, and then you have your online content, which I don't play. Now, if I played that too, because I'm just not good enough, but if I played that, it would be unreal. Then they have this Tops Rewards program. They have all these things, and it's constantly changing and constantly going, here's the new carrot to get. Here's the new carrot to get. Here's the new carrot to get. And it's just like, why doesn't everybody do this? It's unreal how smart it is. I think Fortnite does a very good job of keeping people engaged. But there's a lot, and one of the things I will predict today is a game from Sony that's going to be a free-to-play. But I truly think this is the model for the games that cost money to give us weekly or bi-weekly content drops. And if you don't have that set up, your game is going to die.
You know what? I'll try it. I have it downloaded on the Xbox. I pulled it on Game Pass after how much you've been talking about it. So I'm curious to see how that kind of live aspect works with it. So I pledge here. I'll play it in the next couple of weeks and get back to you, Court, and we'll have a little combo about it. As for myself, I've also been in a bit of a gaming lull, similarly to Steve. Like I just keep playing stuff and nothing's really clicking. Over the weekend, my wife and I decided to hop into Young Souls. I downloaded it on Game Pass, also available on PlayStation. It's like a Streets of Rage style 2D kind of, beat 'em up. It's okay. We played it for like an hour and a half, and like there's just so much dead air in between the running around and actually fighting people. Like there's a lot of story baked into it, but it's a lot of just run here, read, run here, read, run here, read, which like I think for me it's just a bit of like a dissonance with the type of gameplay that it is. I don't really think of like story heavy, especially with this much narrative being thrown into your face constantly as part of like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, which I feel like my wife was just getting bored. She loves Streets of Rage. She likes that kind of stuff. She's like, I don't want to read anymore, which I was like, fair, I get it. Not where you want to be with games. But like, yeah, even for me, like the presentation's cool. The graphics are interesting. Like the story has a cool setup, but there's just so much build up for like anything to happen. And then I don't know, so it's just not as mechanically deep as I was expecting, at least not in the first couple hours. And there's a lot of kind of just run around and read, which to each their own. It's just not exactly what I'm looking for right now. But check it out if you're curious. It is on Game Pass, it is on PlayStation, it is on a lot of the things, so go take a look at that if you're interested.
It's got a beautiful art style. I just want to point that out. I'm looking at it right now, and I really dig that. It almost reminds me of something like Guacamelee.
Yes, and like the presentation as well, like the cutscenes, like they'll like warp behind the back, and you see them very like almost like anime-esque, like leaping across stuff. Like it does have some cool aspects to it. It's just so far, after almost like an hour and a half, I think I've like fought like 10 enemies. Like there's just not a lot going on at first, and like it's not engaging enough to kind of keep you there, especially like no voice acting. So like those things that kind of would hook you in, like despite that, just aren't there at this point for me personally. But check it out. I mean, like I said, it's on Game Pass. It can't hurt hopping in and taking a look. But my friends, without further ado, we're here to talk about E3, or as Court likes to call it, Summer Game Fest.
Where we're there it is.
It is that is the name.
As Court likes to call it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, E3 is dead this year. We're going to be talking all things PlayStation. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of things going on about how PlayStation might be gearing up to do something, probably will do something, but we do know that there is something coming in the next little while. So we're going to predict. We're going to get into it and see. And folks, I liked the system that Sean and Ryan and Kevin had on the last one of the 1 to 10s. I'm thinking, what if we just do yay or nays? Yay, do we think that this is a possibility, or nay, do we think there's no chance in doing this?
Oh, you're the host. Okay, I'm here for it.
I'm down with that.
Let's do some yay or
also.
Yay or nays.
I wanted to. There's some breaking news. Trophies are showing up for PlayStation 1 games.
I saw that.
Not just Siphon Filter now. So
we're starting to see
what
more
I said last week is true. Yay!
Yay! You get an early point. Yeah, there is some stuff seemingly going on with the PlayStation 1 classics. It also seems that, like, at least in Malaysia, you're actually able to buy them separately, along with like a bunch of like CRT TV modes and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll see what happens with this. We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, go read up on it.
Huge if true. Honestly,
huge if true.
If we can buy them, I think that is more in line with what we can currently do on Game Pass.
Right.
And I think that is a smart decision by Sony. In the past, Sony has done a lot of the, hey, we're not going to do Game Pass, we're not going to do this, and obviously they're changing their tune, and I think they're looking at the success of being able to buy games that are on Game Pass or buy games at a cheaper price that are on Game Pass.
Yes.
And allowing people that haven't subscribed to their service, hey, buy this game, and then maybe they buy Siphon Filter, right? And they play it, and they're like, oh my god! And you're like, you just paid $30 for this when you could have just paid this and had the subscription service, and boom, they got another one, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, I guess we'll see, because I'm curious to see how much of this is going to be implemented across the board versus depending on a game by game basis. But keep an eye out. But my friends, let's get into some predictions. We're gonna go around. We're gonna start with our guest. We're gonna start with Steve. We'll have Steve drop one. Then we'll go Court. Then we'll go myself. We'll go a bit of a triangle strategy here, and each drop a prediction. And then we'll end with a pie in the sky ridiculousnesses. And in between those, we'll do some yay or nays to see how right or wrong we think each other are. So Steve, without further ado, let's get predicting. I'll toss to you first.
Okay. My first one. I'm going through my list because I put in way more than 3, just so you guys know. Just cover my bases, of course. Yeah. But my first one, I'm going to go Last of Us Remake with a September release, launches with factions.
Okay.
So, see, he just cut me off. So, continue. I want to add something to yours, but I 100% yay, regardless what he says for the here on out.
Okay. Yeah, just historically, Sony doesn't really launch a lot of their tentpole games during like the October, November area, so I think that they'll want to get that out of the way. Regardless if God of War Ragnarok comes out, that's a whole different story. But Last of Us Remake, I think, is a prime late summer, September launch, and I think, we've heard way too much about the factions mode at this point that I think they'll just couple those together, launch them together. That way you have your single player for people who want to experience this new take on the original story, or a multiplayer suite if people are really invested in some sort of multiplayer aspect of the game.
So here is my counter to this, because I'm countering it almost like we're doing the fantasy critic here. Because one of my predictions, because it's not the same, my first prediction was going to be we are getting factions, because they were working on it when they did Last of Us 2, but it will be free to play on the PlayStation Plus service. So if you have the service, the game will be free to play day and date on PlayStation Plus, and it will be its standalone thing. We have the Last of Us Remake, but if you're looking at the path that Sony is going down, and this is just my theory behind my head on this one, they're going to Bungie, they're going to these things, that this will be one of those, hey, here's another reason. And I don't think it would be in the first tier. You have to at least get to the second tier, and you get this game. It comes with the game trials tier. This is where this game comes in for free, and it gives that extra carrot of, hey, by the way, you can go buy this game, or if you're in this tier, you have this right away, day and date, our multiplayer suite for The Last of Us. And it'll have original maps, but it'll also have new maps, because they're going to have to put in like The Last of Us 2. And there's a lot of really cool maps, like with the underground parking lot one. Ooh. Like that is a map.
Yes, I like that.
You could sneak up on people. So that's my prediction.
Here's a question that I have for the both of you then, because I also had this in my predictions, but mine was a little bit different. I'm gonna nay it, Steve, but only because it counters one of my other predictions. I do think there's a possibility you might be right. But what I was going to predict, and I won't make this an official prediction, do you think, because this is a quote-unquote remake, do you think there's a chance that this comes to the premium level day and date, because they might not be treating this as like a brand new full title? Do you think there's a chance? Because I had it that it was going to come to the PlayStation Plus premium service day one, and they might kind of do this like back and forth, maybe the director's cuts might come to the service day one. They won't drop the full game, but do you think that because this is a remake, they might try and sweeten the pot by putting that in? Steve, I'll ask you first, and then I'll ask Court as well.
I'm hesitant to say yes, only because it's still so early for the service, and I think that if they do this, it sets a really bad precedent for themselves and kind of backs themselves into a corner where it's like, okay, well then God of War Ragnarok, why isn't that day and date? And then, you're kind of trying to then get ahead of yourself and kind of spin the narrative in a different way to be like, no. Well, this is still premium, but not premium enough for us to sell it on its own. But also this, I think maybe a year down the road, if they were to do this, absolutely. Like maybe if, I don't know, any other kind of remake game comes out and they can do that. There's also there's already that baseline foundation for what to expect with PlayStation Plus Premium this early, like 2 months, 3 months down the road, I think that's a little murky for them. I don't know if Court, you agree.
I'm 100% agreeing with him, and that's why I thought of I think they're going to be smart. What they did with Ghost of Tsushima with the making the multiplayer its own thing. Right. If you had the game, you can have it, but eventually that became its own thing. And that's why I think Factions, they've been working on it for so long. Like, there were screenshots and beta videos of this when Last of Us 2 came out. Like, this game has been in the cooker for forever. So I think Sony will set a precedent of giving away multiplayer suites. That is no big deal. They've already set that. I shouldn't even call it a precedent because they've already been doing it in PlayStation Plus. So that is no big stretch, but I'm agreeing with Steve. This is Sony, and I don't think they need to go day and date. I think people still subscribe to service. I'm hoping it's 6 months or 7 months or 8 months or something within the first year of the game's release. We get it on the service. I'm still curious to see if you look at Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut or Death Stranding. Those are remakes, so that's different. But I'm wondering when you're going to see God of War. God of War will be the first one we get to see when it hits, and then we can go, okay, this is when it comes after the fact. But yeah, I think it's going to be the multiplayer suite that will be day and date. Like, hey, the remake comes out on this day, the multiplayer comes out on or the multiplayer is live right now. Go to your PlayStation Plus and download it.
Okay. Yeah. So is that your official first prediction, Court? Yeah,
my prediction is that it is day and date on the service, the multiplayer suite only. Factions is there, and it's their big, hey, if you're subscribed to this service, you get this for free. Or you can buy Remake, but if you don't, you can get it for free over here.
Interesting. Okay. I'm with you, but I think that they're going to make Factions just flat out free to play. I think it's just going to be like period. They're going to take like the Fortnite approach to it and just make it regardless of what level you're subscribed to, Factions is free.
Yeah, and I could see it too. The only reason I don't, it's just because of Destiny, right? They already have that game.
True.
They already have that game. They just bought that game. They already have we don't need, we have Fortnite's already on our service, Fall Guys is already on our service, and now that game Destiny will be on our service. Like I think it'll be just like what they had with Game Pass, where all of the DLC is showing up on PlayStation Plus day and date. If you want it, but if you're on Xbox, you gotta pay for it. And that makes total sense.
Agreed.
Yeah, I guess it all depends like where Factions does end up, because I'm in agreement with you, Court, that I do think that Factions does have a really good chance of being introduced into PlayStation Plus. Just which tier? Because I mean, historically, you look at games like Rocket League and Destruction All Stars; those are just PlayStation Plus games, multiplayer games, and they thrived because of that. But I also now wonder whether or not PlayStation identifies Factions as, is this a Rocket League kind of level thing where it could just be the baseline PlayStation Plus, bring everyone in, or is it going to be treated as like a more premium offering where it's like, okay, no, you got to be at least extra or above in order to get
That's what I'm thinking, because they have such a huge subscriber base, right? They're already dwarfing Game Pass. Let's just look at the numbers, just tell you that. But if you can get people just that little extra, hey, just come over to Extra.
Right.
Just come over.
Yep.
And in Extra, we get which tier gives you the trials?
A premium.
So it would be premium. Right? This is Sony we're talking about. It'll definitely be
and especially because it has The Last of Us.
Yes.
Well said. All right. So my official first prediction then, and this is why I made Steve's, but I still think he could be right. I think Final Fantasy 16 is this September.
Ooh, okay.
I think that there might be some credence to the Forspoken getting pushed rumors. That game looks cool, but it does look a little. I think it does need a little bit more time. I think Final Fantasy 16 is imminent, and so I'm going to say Final Fantasy 16 this September. And to sweeten it, I do think it's going to be on PlayStation Plus Premium day one.
Wow.
I think Sony's going to get aggressive with the third-party stuff. I think with the first-party stuff, we're not going to see them be as aggressive. I can totally see them play Final Fantasy 16. I don't know if it's going to be multi-platform or not. They may still keep it as a PlayStation, exclusive. But I do think that they might be like, all right, Square Enix, maybe they didn't actually acquire them outright. Maybe they got some ridiculous publishing deals with them, and they're going to say Final Fantasy 16 on premium day one when it comes out.
I'm going to have to agree with them, because one of my predictions was going to be that they have a partnership with Square. Because they already have one, and it's just hey, and I wasn't going to say day and date. I was just going to say, hey, guess what? We're announcing today all the old Final Fantasies are live right now. Like everything that we've made on Square Japan is on the service. Sure. And day and date won't be, and that's what one of my. But it doesn't matter. You kind of just said it there, so I won't even say it.
I'm going to give it a quick nay. Oh, not because it counters mine at all, or anything, but just because of the current landscape of video game development and everything. I would be shocked if Final Fantasy 16 comes out this year for whatever reason. Like I just feel it in the air somewhere. Is just this game has delayed written all over it, in my opinion, just the way I see it. Same with Forspoken. That's just a game where it's like, oh yeah, it's 2023 now. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I can easily see this being very wrong. I don't know why. Similarly, I just have that feeling that I think it's imminent. And I mean, I guess we'll find out. Because there's a lot of rumors that we're going to be finding more information out about from Square Enix in June. So let's see what happens. Steve, let's go to you for your next prediction.
My next one. Oh man. Okay. Spider-Man 2, we know it's in development. I think we get another little check-in, a little pop-in. It's going to be a cinematic. I think this time they're going to focus more on showcasing Kraven the Hunter, which has long been rumored another villain of the movie, or sorry, the game. But because we know the movie is in development, Kraven the Hunter solo movie or whatever, I think this is the best time to kind of showcase, yes, this... let's build some hype for this character, because I feel like he is he is a Spider-Man rogues gallery character, but at the same time kind of, under the radar in a little bit. So especially when you compare him to someone like Venom. So I think, we get a better cinematic, a better look at this game. I still think that this game is a 2023 game, so maybe they end it off with, confirming that news. I still think, you want to get this kind of off the heels of the Kraven the Hunter movie, but not so much that you're tiptoeing the line to where another Spider-Man movie can come out, because I think just content-wise, you want to be able to be like, hey, we can bring in Venom skins from the movie, Spider-Man 1, 2, like the home series, Kraven the Hunter skins and stuff like that, but not get so close to the next Spider-Man movie where you kind of blow that chance to be like, okay, now we can do another refresh for the game and bring more people in because we got new skins or new content. So yeah, I think another check-in with Insomniac and kind of just where Spider-Man 2 is, probably a PlayStation 5, big blowout once again for them.
Yeah.
I could see that coming.
This is an easy yay for me. I think you're right. We're definitely going to get something out of it. I also think that's because I think Spider-Man 2 is definitely going to hit 2023, but I also think that Wolverine's going to fall in 2024, and they're going to want a year to breathe between them, with especially from them both coming from Insomniac. So yeah, I think this is an easy yay. I think you're spot on.
Yeah, and I think it would be smart, because my prediction is going to be Sony has never been afraid to do tongue-in-cheek things, and I originally predicted this game not to come out, but I think everything I've read and developers saying things and Sony having it on the web, God of War is coming, and I think it is this year. When they just released the accessibility features on this game, I was like, all right, you're so far ahead in this game. I am 100% wrong. This game is coming out this year, so good on Sony. And I think they do 11/11, and I think it'll be hilarious. I think they were going to release the game. I think they were going to release the game in November regardless, because this is Sony and they're not scared of anybody. I just think they weren't going to do that week, and they were going to pick either the week before or the week after. It just made sense. Just because both games can breathe and they are both going to be different games, but one isn't going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And this is Sony, and it would be pretty dang hilarious if they did 11/11 release date God of War Ragnarok. It would be honestly, it's I think God of War, my prediction is it's coming, but I'm going to add on this just because it would be the best thing to hit the internet. It would just be, people would be losing their minds and tweeting out everything and doing all the dunk stuff. It's just like when they did this is how you trade games. Well, this is how you release a game, right? 11/11, this game's coming, and it was the day Starfield originally had, and they're putting out God of War Ragnarok.
What do you think?
I mean, Sony's petty that way, the best way possible. And I mean that in the best way possible. I love when, something bad will happen on, one side, and then Sony will be like, hey guys, hey, what's going on? They'll do that, and Xbox will do the exact same thing. Their social media games on both sides is incredible, and I feel like something like that could happen, and it would just break the internet because of how funny, how, tongue-in-cheek it is, like you said. Whether or not I believe that God of War Ragnarok is coming this year is a whole different story. I don't believe so. I just think that, like you said, Starfield's not coming out, and what better way to be like, we just bought ourselves 6 months to make this game even better without even saying anything. Like, we don't have to, disappoint everyone by being like, oh, it's not coming out this year. We just bought ourselves 6-8 months essentially. If they could just push it out to 2023, I don't know. I feel like God of War would only benefit from more time, just like almost any game. So why not take it? But I don't know.
It's just more fun.
This is a yay for me. This is a yay for me. I think it could be ready. I think it could come out this year. I think that if they're going to be gutty enough to go for our 11/11, we're not going to get that release date until September. I think they're going to wait till like the last possible second. That because if they swing for 11/11 and then they miss and have to delay, that is going to backlash on them horribly.
Yeah. Could you imagine though? To come out with that, like the gusto to be like, hey, it's going to be November 11th. 2 weeks later, we get the Cyberpunk yellow screen.
Yeah, the yellow screen.
Like, guys,
I was shocked when they announced all the accessibility features. Like, to me, that you have to be so far along in the game to announce all that. Like, with the last time we saw God of War, they showed us gameplay, like in engine, not, hey, this is a demo. This is part of a level. Like, they made that clear. And originally I thought 100% it was going to be delayed. And I thought a lot of that had to do with Starfield. And they looked at it and they were like, you know what? If the game isn't fully ready, don't push yourself. And I think Sony knew even before Xbox even announced Starfield was getting delayed. I think they knew regardless. And it was, I think Cory Barlog and his team are one of the best in the business. And I think we all know this. Like, they're one of the best there is. And I think, when they announced the accessibility features last week, I was just like, all right, you got me. Like, I'm 100% wrong. You're not even announcing this or even bringing this game back into the news if it's not releasing this year. And the fact that they're steadfast. Like, the one developer they did announce the game was coming this year and then took away his tweet.
Yeah.
But he didn't put that tweet out there for no reason. He put that out late at night because it was. And he was like, whatever, man, this game's coming. And then they were like, dude, you can't do that. And so he's like, all right, fine, I'll delete my tweet. But he still did it. Like, this game is coming. This is Sony. Their Xbox is, and I love my Xbox, they have a history of just dropping the ball when it comes to their first party games. And it is what it is. Sony doesn't have that history. They delay things far in advance when they need to.
Yep.
And I swear this game was coming in November no matter what. And if they can do 11/11, it would be hilarious.
Yep. I'm curious to see, Court, because I do think you're onto something here. It's a yay for me. I believe you. As for myself, I really do think that, like, as much as last fall was Xbox's, I think they really controlled the narrative between Forza, between Halo. I think last fall was theirs. I think this is going to be Sony's fall. And I'm going to add on to it. I'm going to say that PSVR 2 is coming this fall. I don't want to date it because I'm not sure when, and it depends on things like if Final Fantasy is imminent, if God of War is coming, if The Last of Us. I think they're going to be smart about it. I think PSVR 2 is coming this fall. I think we're going to get another first-party game announcement, whether it's coming this fall or not. Like, I do think we'll get another, like, Horizon-style announcement. And I do think that they're going to come around and also say, hey, you'll also get PSVR games as part of PlayStation Plus Premium. I think they'll put it in that level. I think that, like, it's not going to be a ton of games. It's not going to be but, like, for anybody who wants to jump in on PSVR 2 who maybe didn't have the original, I'm sure the devs are working on porting them as we speak because it is going to be a process. But I do think that when we eventually find out release date, pricing, I do think they're also going to say PSVR games are also coming to PlayStation Plus, whether it's at the extra, at the premium tier. But I do think it's coming, and I do think it's coming this fall.
I'm going to go yay with this one. Honestly, the fact that we've got...
sounds right.
We got a full look at this machine, this headset so early, makes me feel like, okay, it's on the precipice of going into production. Now, obviously, supply chain issues, we all know that's the big thing. But I think internally that it only makes sense that they're going to announce pricing, announce pre-order details this whenever this event happens, and then get this out into people's hands, because I think there's no point of waiting at this point because supply chains are just so murky. There's no waiting to be like next year it's going to be better, because who knows at this point, right? Might as well just release it and just hope for the best kind of thing. And I do agree with you 100%. They need to include this with PlayStation Premium. they dropped the ball so hard with the original PSVR and not having that as part of like the PlayStation Plus subscription until the very end, when people were like, well, I already either have these games or I'm not interested in PSVR at this point. So I think getting ahead of that
we got really random.
Now I do wonder though, like, to your point, who would be the developer to do like another first party like tentpole thing to get people in? Because
I'm kind of feeling it might be Ghost.
Ooh.
Like, I think we could get Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know. Because I'm of two minds of that.
Oh my god. Either that or I get my long-awaited Infamous game.
Yeah, and I'm of two minds. Either we get like the first one, like kind of VR compatible, instead of doing like a full-on sequel, or we'll get kind of like a mini style, what I'm assuming Horizon Call of the Mountain is going to be. I think that just translates really easily. The gameplay would be fun. People that brand is hot right now. For me, I don't know if it'll be developed in-house. That's the only thing that I'm not sure if they'll keep it in, or if they're going to, have a third party do it. But that's kind of where I'm at. I think it might be Ghost.
Court, do you have...
I'm still surprised we're not going to have Deathloop, because it just feels weird. How can they have a showcase and not... Mind you, Deathloop would be perfect for VR. Like, absolutely perfect. So I'm not going to go to my pie in the sky, and I'm going to save one for someone else, because we talked about it before, because I really like that one. So my third one, because I've had a couple.
Hold on, wait.
I just want to throw out another prediction for whoever's going to do this, like tentpole VR title. I kind of want to put out Insomniac with the Spider-Man game.
Oh my god!
Just swinging through the. Just swinging. Yeah, just that's all you got to do.
You swing through New York, open world. You fight a couple villains. That's
experience.
Like, it doesn't have to be huge.
They have Windlands as a basis. They have Windlands as a basis for that. That's already a Spider-Man game, pretty much. I mean, just bring it up. Oh, Steve,
could you just imagine?
So the only thing with that is the motion sickness. Like, how
they
bad
definitely need to fix, like, concentrate.
Yeah.
Although, if they work with, I can't remember the developer who did Iron Man VR, they did a really good job with the locomotion in that game.
Yes, they did.
But
who was it?
Yeah, if you want to look it up, because I'm just imagining if everyone just remembers the trailer for the Amazing Spider-Man movie, where it's first person and you see like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man go up against the skyscraper, just recreate that in VR. Oh man, come on, that's a huge W for Sony if they can do that.
It's Camouflage, by the way. Camouflage was a studio that did it.
And double down on Spider-Man as much as possible. Right? You're Sony, and we now, after all those lawsuits and stuff with Apple, we now know more about the whole deals with Spider-Man and how Spider-Man's only on... Like, you might as well just... Or get, like, a Morbius game, because, it's Morbin time.
Morbin time. Summer of Morbius.
All right. Say it once.
Steve, your third and final prediction before we get to the Pies in the Sky.
This one I think might just be a shoe-in.
Do it, Steve.
I don't think this is going to be the one you're expecting.
Well, then do that as your pie in the sky.
Yeah, we'll see. My third and final prediction is Pixel Opus is known to be working on a brand new game with Sony Interactive Entertainment as a partnership after Concrete Genie. So I think we're just going to see it. It's not a wacky game or anything, like a wacky prediction for a game. I think it's just a safe prediction that at this point now, it's been 3 years since Concrete Genie came out. They have to have something to show. So I think this is just a safe bet.
Yeah, that's an easy yay for me. I think you're 100% on. I think we'll see. I think that game is...
Yeah, that's an easy yay.
Yeah.
Well done on your easy prediction there.
Court, what about you? Number 3.
So I am... I have it visually in my head how they'll do it, but we are going to see the long-rumored Uncharted game. This is Sony. They always give us the big games ahead of time. When there's a rumor about this Uncharted game, it just won't go away. Yeah. I wanted to do the safe thing and say we'll see more of the Star Wars, The Republic, like... It's an easy Knights of Republic. It's just an easy, hey, we already put it there. We'll put it in your thing. But this is Sony. This is not my pie in the sky. This is their one more thing. And they are going to, see Drake. He's going to be older. And then all of a sudden his daughter's going to come in the room because it's going to be her. She's going to be the main character. And it's going to be the long-rumored Uncharted game. It makes sense. They ended Uncharted 4 making his daughter a thing. This is Sony. There's no way you can get away from this franchise. Drake becomes Sully. His daughter is Drake. It's just made. You still get to have Drake in the game. You still get to have his quips. You still get to have everything. You get to still make his old man jokes that he was making all throughout Uncharted 4. But, Sully's old, so you need to be able to go in a different path, and this is Sony, and it just makes sense. And that's just me as someone that really loves Uncharted and did a ton of research on Uncharted this year. So I truly think the one more thing of this show is on Uncharted, and it just I don't think these rumors are not real.
I think I'm with you up until
the
Drake
daughter part.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think the daughter will be the protagonist, but I think they might go for like a Chloe or a Nadine as the Sully role rather than slotting Drake in, because I think what they might do is they might be like, they might go for like the Drake gets kidnapped early on in the game, so the daughter is going out to find him kind of thing. Like I can see them taking that angle with it.
Or Sully dies.
Or Sully.
We can get really dark real quick.
Yeah, just because, I don't know, I feel like they might worry about Drake overshadowing his daughter.
Fair. That's a very good point.
So,
very good point.
I can see. I genuinely want it to be Chloe. I think Nadine would also be awesome. But I think you're right. I think we are going to see that new Uncharted sometime soon. Steve, what do you think?
I give it a yay. Like you, I'm a little hesitant to say that Nate would be fit for like a Sully role because of exactly what you said, overshadowing the new main character. Why not Sam? Why not throw Sam in there?
Yep.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree with you, Cord. I think at some point, even a reveal, kind of like what they did with God of War. No, I was going to say God of War with like, Nathan Drake coming out of the shadows or something, just to like introduce, like set the tone for this. Exactly.
Just
or
the music.
Even just the music.
Just the music. All you got to do is the music, and it just shows up. And then this is Sony. They do a lot of play-ons of stuff. So I was even like, my mind was like, you have Drake's daughter lying in the puddle, and you think it's Drake, and you get up, and it's Drake's daughter instead, and that's it. And then it just says the thing, because that's what they left us with at Uncharted 4. If you remember when that first got announced, everyone lost their freaking minds. And that was the one more thing. And Sony is by far the best at one more thing than anybody else in the industry. Nintendo did very good on Metroid Prime that one time, but that's about it for me. Like, even when they did Zelda, we were all like, no, duh. Obviously, you're going to show Zelda, but because they don't have that many. But us not having Uncharted, them saying it was never coming back, and now like the amount of people, including the Jeff Grubbs of the world, that say no, that this game is real. There's definitely just like with the factions. I feel I'm being safe, to be totally honest, with all my guesses so far, because I was like, if you look at what has been worked on, and and also then I'm happy. I'm a huge Uncharted Last of Us person, and you can just give me my own Summer Game Fest Sony, please.
Nice. Okay, and as for my final one before we get into the outlandish predictions, I think Persona 6 being unveiled this year is pretty much a lock. I think that we're going to get it, whether it's at a Sony event or Atlas does their own thing as part of their Persona 25th, celebration. I think that coming. I think we're going to get the trailer. I think we're going to get a release date. I'm going to say next April. I think it's going to be a worldwide release date next April.
Ooh, that'll be the first worldwide one, right? Because usually they do the Japan first, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if Royal was worldwide. Persona 5.
Persona 5 was not.
But Royal.
No, Persona 5 definitely wasn't, because I know
I want to say even
all the
Royal
people at IGN
was
had already
was
finished
split.
it.
I think you might be right. Let me fact check myself quick.
Because I know Square has moved to worldwide releases of their games, and I think that would, as someone who I tried Persona, it just wasn't for me, but it would make sense. I think it's a yay already.
So it was split. Okay. In Japan, it came out October 31st, 2019. North America came out March 31st, 2020. So about 6 months in between. So that's why for me, I think they're going to go for. That's one of the shortest turnarounds we've ever had, especially for a JRPG. So that's why for me, I think Persona 6 will be worldwide. And I still think it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. I still think it's not coming to Switch. No. It's not coming to Xbox. They'll get cheeky with their side games, but I think Persona 6 will be unveiled. We'll get a worldwide release date of next April, and it's still going to be PlayStation exclusive.
Easy EA for me, yeah.
It makes sense. Sony keeps their partnerships. They never lose them. Like, we know they've lost Call of Duty because it wasn't at the presentation they just did. They said their marketing partnerships for the year, and Call of Duty's not on there. So we know that's gone, but we all know why that's gone.
And I think, it would be such a huge win as well for just the worldwide audience for that game, of being like, this is the anniversary. It's going to launch worldwide. Like, having that announcement would be huge for them. And I think you're spot on.
All right, awesome. Let's get into one more round, my friends, of outlandish pie in the sky ridiculousness. Steve, What's your one and only big
shot? I know Court expects me to say one thing, but in my heart of hearts, I can't let this go, and I won't let this go until Sony gives me what I want. I know I'm a clown for saying this, but Bloodborne PS5 upgrade, give it to me, please, so I can stop this. Stop this nonsense right now.
Now, question for you on that prediction, and this won't be part of your prediction. Do you think it's a PlayStation Plus game? Because the fact that Spider-Man PS5 version isn't on there is still a mind F to me. It makes no sense.
I don't think so.
Maybe that's their next game they announce, which would be kind of cheesy. They do their thing. They're like, oh, by the way, Spider-Man PS5 is now on PlayStation Plus.
I don't think so. I think it just follows suit. If it does happen, it follows suit with Death Stranding director's cut or Ghost of Tsushima, stuff like that. I think it's just something you buy for $10. People look at the screen, the upgrade tree, and they're like, oh, this is confusing. I'm gonna be mad for a week and then buy it anyways. It's the same thing that happens every time. Yeah.
So then, quick question, because I think this is a yay. I honestly hope that this does happen, just to stop getting
right. I'd love to stop asking.
Yeah,
because it's like, just give it to the people who want it. Do you? And again, not part of your prediction. I'm just curious. Do you think it also hits PC?
At some point, yeah, absolutely. I think this is just one of those games that fits that portfolio of games that we're going to keep on PlayStation for a certain amount of time and then transition it over to PC as well.
This would be the perfect game to do day and date on PC, because the fact that the PS5 controller, the DualSense, was quietly all of a sudden it works on a PC. Out of nowhere they're like, oh, by the way, here's a blog post. It works on the PC. And Sony now interviews since then. PC almost comes up every single time. I think they're going to day and date their remake games and their glow up games. Not God of War, but when they glow up a game, it's day and date on.
That'd be great, because they are continuously testing that water of what can we do? Can we do like a year? Can we do 6 months? God
of War did so well.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah.
Like
so did Horizon.
Yes, and imagine they put Ghost on it. Like, Jesus, the game would destroy.
Yeah.
It would destroy.
It would. All right, Court, what's your pie in the sky? What's your outlandish?
My pie in the sky is we see a hand come down and lightning comes flying out of the hand, and then we just hear this beautiful accent of Cole, and Insomniac comes across the screen, and that's it. We know they are making an Infamous game, and they're redoing it. And because the only reason I think this is a pie in the sky is because I know they're working on Wolverine. But we also know that they're also working on Spider-Man. And when Spider-Man's done, that team needs to do something. And they have made it openly clear over and over and over again. I don't care if they're making 14 games already. This is pie in the sky here. I just want Infamous from the ground up. I want Infamous 1. I want Infamous 2. If we're getting remakes of all these games and all these glow-ups of all these games, why don't we go back to a game that's in the PS3 title that is unbelievable? And we talked about this before, the amount of it's a superhero game. It has the good and the bad, which we already know if we look at The Boys and all the themes. So much about people want that content. So, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. So just give it back. Give me it back.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. One of my pie in the skies was also Infamous coming back, but I said that Cole and Delsin will be both in the game. I think they might have like a dual pro tag thing to kind of not just waste away what they did with Delsin. I hope you're right, dude. I hope you're right.
I love Infamous. Delsin was just not a good character to me. I just didn't care for him. It was like the one time that Troy Baker did a character, and I'm like, ooh, it's a yikes for me, dog. It was just I didn't care for him. He was more annoying. The DLC, she would have made a better character.
What
she
I
was
can't
better.
remember her name, but
way better. Light or what?
Not
the
Neon.
DLC, I think it was Neon.
But great character.
She was amazing. So that would have made more sense than Delsin. I think Delsin was more just like a whiny grunge kid. And you know what? Whiny grunge kids. Maybe that's good now because we all like the Batman, but except Matt.
I didn't like the Batman actually, but anyways.
I just said that, except Matt. Yeah, Matt's weird.
Fetch. Fetch was her name.
Not Neon.
Fetch. She was amazing.
She was great.
She was a cool.
Yeah.
No, her power was
so
Neon.
someone in the comments, and I think it's Sean. It's either. I'm pretty sure it's Ryan, because Infamous plus Blue Point, which makes sense. And they could announce like it just. regardless, we're getting another Infamous game. I just want it.
Fetch happened. That is an incredible comment.
Sean is Carpool. Sorry, okay, Sean is smart.
Fetch happened. Nicely done.
Sean is right. Ryan is Ryan. Okay, Jesus.
I'm with you though, Gord.
I just want another. That's my pie in the sky.
I'm with
Infamous.
you.
Give me Infamous.
I think it's a matter of when, not if, because I think, everyone always brings up the thing of like, oh, Insomniac's doing this, Insomniac's doing that. When has Insomniac taken a break? Never. So if they really wanted to, if they went to approach, the higher ups at Sony and been like, okay, yeah, we have Spider-Man, we have Wolverine, we really want to do Infamous next, they'd be like, okay, go ahead. Like, you guys will clearly figure it out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog and Insomniac are the biggest studios in gaming. Like, they put out a game and they're like, everybody's just like, so it's going to be good. Like, it's not like, hey, I wonder if it's going to be good. We're like, oh, it's going to be good.
Plus, Insomniac is the type of team where they have Marvel money. They have the money to just make another team, to make another game if they want to. I'm sure that they can hire up and upscale if they really wanted to. I think you might be onto something, Court. As for my final announcement, my final pie in the sky prediction, I think we're gonna get a trailer. I think we're gonna get some creepy visuals, some scary things happening. We're gonna see Pyramid Head wander on screen, and then that's gonna be it. We're gonna get Silent Hill come up. It's going to be developed by Blue Box. And then we're never going to see this game actually come out. There's going to be some little trailer, some little demo for it. But Blue Box, I think, is working on Silent Hill. Whether it actually comes out or not, no, it won't. But I couldn't end this episode. I can't end this episode without bringing up my favorite development studio in Blue Box and say that I think they are working on Silent Hill, and I think that never sees the light of day.
That makes me so happy that you put that out there, because I feel like out of everyone else that I know, like in my community ecosystem, you are one of the only other people that care about Blue Box just as much as me, that follows them obsessively, being like, what is wrong with you? You guys are so weird. Stop being weird. Such a weird, just studio in general. I don't believe that they've even touched the Silent Hill IP at all. They're not allowed. They have, there are laws in place to make sure that Hassan Karaman does not touch Silent Hill. But that being said, I love the memes. I love you for predicting that. That's amazing. Yeah.
And the only reason I would think it's somebody, because Konami don't copyright strike for no reason. True. Because I never got to see it.
Me too.
I googled it after the fact. I wasn't up in time, I guess. But those screenshots and those videos, 4 seconds of video that was out there, I can't find it anywhere. Konami got that stuff quick, and that was out there for it seems like, from what I read on Twitter, it was like an hour that it was live. Yep. And if you're Konami and that wasn't real,
right, you
let it go. Well, but if you're Konami, it was real. So maybe that rumored Metal Gear, but I think you're more closer to being right. Your pie, my pie in the sky is, probably right 5 years from now. I think you're way more right than you know.
I think that, because there are, Jeffy Grubb was talking about how there are multiple Silent Hill projects in the works. One of them rumored to be at Bloober Team. I think this might be one of, the side projects. I don't think this is a mainline Silent Hill. I think this is a spin-off that they're going to announce, that they're going to continue to push. Again, whether it actually comes out.
And I still think we're going to, either this year or next year, get that Metal Gear Solid. You don't put out a movie without the game at the same time. So
probably.
I didn't want to say that one because it's just whatever. That is probably a bang on. Who are we kidding now? Konami ain't dumb. They're just not dumb. They're just hey, well, you know what? They are dumb. Who are kidding? They let Kojima go. But we know we're getting a Death Stranding 2 now, but so that won't get announced. Yep. We know that's happening.
Thanks, Norman.
Right?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that, my friends, brings us to the end of a wild ride of predictions. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. It was an honor having you as our first guest ever on the PlayStation Drive. I hope you come back and rock.
Absolutely. If I win, points allocated and everything, I get to come back, right? That's the rule?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? 100%. I'm going to say it now. We're going to do a live episode during that weekend. That's happening. So, Steve, you're back. Don't worry about it.
There you go. That'll be all you guys. I believe in you, Steve. If people wanted to find more of you,
find me
where could they
on
do so?
Twitter at Us Vegvari. You can also, keep up with my work on iPhone in Canada, Mobile Syrup, Console Creatures, Squad. I'm everywhere, and yeah, thank you guys again for inviting me on the show. Thanks, Sean. Thank everyone involved with Carpool Gaming and everyone watching right now. It's been an absolute blast.
It's been so much fun having you, and I can't wait to do this with you again in the future. Court, if they want to see more of your wonderful face, where could they do that?
You can find me at Court Lone on Twitter, or you can find me at Carpool Gaming on Twitter. I do run both, so if, like I said before, I'll say it again. If someone is a smart mouth to you on Carpool Gaming, I promise you it is me, not Sean. So it is definitely me.
100%. Make sure you go follow Court and Steve in all the places. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter over at burnout_Matt. And you can find more of me on youtube.com/burnoutbrighter, where we do all things video games, social justice, and mental health. But that, my friends, brings us to the end of the 52nd edition of the PlayStation Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Find all the things. We appreciate your support always. And we will see you on the next episode. Peace out.
The PlayStation Drive is fueled by Patreons who truly make me believe that anything is possible. And I'd like to thank them more than the 90 patrons who support us each and every month at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, with a special thanks to our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from Quest 4 Pixels, Dallas Ford, Emily O'Kelly, Trucker Sloth, Jonathan Brown, Drew Agnew, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive, Skinny Matt hosting Carpool Gaming Community Nights. Please follow at twitch.tv/SkinnyMatt. Links are in the show notes. Please support these ultimate producers. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Dano, Marcus McCracken, Mostly Martinez, Becky Rubin Navarro, Robbie, Bobby Miller, and RJ Kern. Gold members, Anna W., Argo, Ashley Nicholson, Cicely Carosa, Dallas Robbins, Foolish Fuji, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Nagachaka, The Snack Network, Tom D4NKS, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots. Newest members, I really want to thank you. To the Ultimate Team are Tony Baker and Skinny Matt. And welcome, John32.